Welcome. Welcome to our time of remembering and celebrating the life of Connie Noble. There is a lovely old-time hymn called "Blessed Be the Ties That Bind." Clearly the tie that binds all of us today is the love we share for our very own Connie Noble. We would like to open this celebration of her life with a very short prayer. O Lord, you are Father and Mother to us all. We come to you today with the three parts of prayer: praise, petition, and thanks. We praise you for this glorious day, a day Connie would have enjoyed on this very golf course. We petition you to bless all of us here with comfort in our time of need. We thank you for creating your daughter and our friend, Connie, a woman of amazing character, talent, and enormous capacity for love and friendship. As she was a longtime member, former director, and associate director of the San Diego Chorus of Sweet Adelines, we begin our celebration today with music from the San Diego Chorus under the direction of Kathleen Hansen. Kathleen?
We are
Isn't it nice to be at the kind of celebration of life where you get to applaud? We will hear from many of Connie's loving friends and family members today. Okay, thank you. We extend a special welcome to those of you who've traveled across the country to join us, and our friends watching on the live stream, welcome to you too. If there is a single unifying theme that emerges from our speakers, I believe it will be her passion. Connie never did anything by halves. She was all in or not in. Listen for it. We now welcome, speaking about Connie's earlier years, her friend of long standing from high school, Sherry Dominic. Sherry?
They're supplied here. Actually, I was friends with Connie from junior high, and my husband went to grade school with her. So, how many 70-year-old people have grade school people at their memorial service? Connie and I grew up together. We were in band together, and I didn't know Connie could sing. As close as we were, Connie was a musician. She played, like she just mentioned, Connie does it well. She played the clarinet, first chair, and when our band director decided he wanted an oboe, Connie learned how to play the oboe. Then, about a year later, Mr. Imes decided he wanted a bassoon, so Connie learned how to play the bassoon. In concert season, Connie'd have her instruments lined up there, and depending on the song, that's what Connie was going to play that time. She was amazing. I just found out last week that in high school, in junior high actually, she sang in her adult school choir as a junior high student. We didn't know she sang. She was a musician in high school. We were.
Excuse me, we can't hear you back here.
What do I?
Could you get closer to that mic?
I'll help you.
Okay.
You can keep talking.
Okay. You don't want to hear that again, right? Don't make me do this.
Can I?
Yeah.
Do you want to try that?
Okay. All right. Band, clarinet, oboe, bassoon. Did it all. And of course, Connie was an officer in the band. You know, if she's in it, she's gonna help run it. We were in the Canton-Massillon area, which they weren't small towns, but our high school was a small suburb, and we were very close. Our families knew each other. We knew the brothers and sisters. When we graduated from high school, everyone would come back home to visit occasionally, and our families would keep us posted with what we were doing and what our other families were doing. We graduated, though. We all went off to college. Some of us got married, they had children, had careers, and of course, everyone drifts apart. Well, Connie and I found each other in San Diego. And actually, my husband and I were saying goodbye to some friends. We've been visiting them and out in the driveway saying goodbye. And I looked across the street, and there's Connie Noble standing out in her front yard. We didn't know we were there. This was San Diego. We're from Ohio. So that's how we found each other again here. But then Connie had moved to San Diego. We moved to Europe, so it was a few more years. Finally, we got together. Everyone's retired. And we'd have lunches. We had great lunches, long lunches, good lunches. And we'd gossip and talk about everyone, what's so-and-so doing. We thought, everybody's kids are gone. They're done now. Why don't we call them up or email them, see if they'd like to come to San Diego. I mean, San Diego's a vacation city. These are Ohio people, or one was from Mississippi, one was from Virginia. So we sat there in the restaurant and wrote an email. Sent that email thinking maybe one or two will get back to us, one or two will come out, and pretty soon, bing, 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 all of them say, when? So we had 9 of us who would get together, and when they came to California, Connie and I would organize what we did. If we went back to home or Ohio, the girls back there would organize. But Connie named us Club 9. It was just easier than going through so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. So we had Club 9. And it was hysterical. We had the most fun. You can never Have friends like the kind you grew up with, where your families know each other. Everyone knows each other. Everyone knows your history. No pretenses. We did come up with some hysterical secrets that we had that we didn't know before these little trips. And my husband said he was amazed at how people could sit for a week and laugh, just not stop laughing for an entire week. And in fact, Bob, I don't know if you knew how Connie learned to kiss. There's a tree in a little local park in Richville, and she and Sally would go out when they were in, this was grade school, and practice on this tree. A few secrets we had we didn't know about. Well, we did have a good time. Everywhere we went, people wanted to know why these 9 old ladies were traveling together, and as soon as we said we went to high school together, they were even floored more. We had good lunches. When we went back to Ohio, one time, City of Flags was having their 50th course anniversary. Go faster. Got it. Okay. Okay, got it. So we thought, okay, Connie, get us tickets. We're going to go back. She thought they were going to introduce her. During this show, it was a huge hall, a lot of people. They'd say, okay, everyone who's had such and such an award, stand up. Connie would stand up and a couple other people. Everyone who's had this other award, stand up. Connie would stand up and a couple other people. And this went on for about 10 different awards. At the end, they said, now everyone who stood up for all of these awards, and just Connie, she had gotten every award there was. We didn't know this. We knew she sang, but we were quite impressed at that point. One last thing, and I'll move it along. When we were back, we'd have trouble. This was like herding cats to have all these old ladies, and we tried to do things together. We'd go shopping. We were in Amish country where they have these big barns. And we'd go to leave, and we could never round everybody up. So Connie says, okay, we're Club 9, we're going to have numbers. When we're ready to leave, number 1's going to say 1, and then wherever you hear this, you say 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we know all of us can go, and we can leave. That worked until the second store when we couldn't remember our numbers. So Connie, of course, looks around. They have some tin numbers hanging on these Amish stores. We bought 1 through 9, and we each had our number, and now we have it at home, hanging on a wall, so we'll always know what our number is, and we can all get out of there together.
Connie was an enthusiastic supporter of quartet singing, and we are blessed today to hear from a quartet for whom she was a coach, a mentor, and a friend. Solo voce.
Open hearts will always see how divine our lives could be. Reach high, reach for your heart's desire.
quartet is a perfect segue into the quartets of Connie's life in the big, wide, wonderful world of Sweet Adeline Harmony. When I spoke of her go big or go home mentality, I can cite no better example than her first quartet and her first crown as an international champion. Please welcome Lee Davidson, Connie's devoted friend from the 4th edition. Lee?
Thank you. Thank you for today. This is a wonderful honor for Connie and everybody. We all had a fun time being with her. Our first quartet started out, I guess, on a negative level because my two sisters and I, we were looking for a tenor. We'd been in some other quartets and whatever happened in our lives, early lives. And Dale, that's Dale. Darrell Flynn, he was the director of the Sweet Adeline Chorus in Canton, Ohio, and the men's chorus in Akron, Ohio. So he called up one day and said he thought he had a tenor for our quartet. And the three of us had been in an international finalist quartet called the Related Four. We dragged a cousin into it. So Darrell thought that Connie would be a good tenor in our quartet and fit very nicely, you know. So we drove down to Akron, thank you, like an hour away or something. And lo and behold, at the intermission, we went backstage and met Connie. And we sang, well, we didn't have a plan. We just found 2 songs we could sing. And that was terrific. It was electrifying. She completed us as singers and our souls, as it turned out. And then we found that we could not compete because the 3 of us had been in a previous regional championship quartet. So we had to petition the International Board of Directors, and we wrote a letter and said, we're not even singing the same parts we did, you know? We're different people, and we thought we'd grown up in 5 years, but not. So in 1971, we became a quartet. And the limitation was we couldn't go back to regional to compete. We could only compete at international. So we did. We were all ready. We had a coach, had everything. Got to the convention. We didn't have one set of songs, 2 songs, that either filled up the time, we were over, we were under, we were something, you know. They didn't like our clothes, the coaches and all. They didn't like any of our outfits. And they said, we're going to dinner, we'll see you in the morning. We're going to take one day at a time, and we're moving on with this plan. And we did. Now, we didn't even know each other very long. We'd only, as a quartet, to be glued together. Well, we took each day as it came, changed the costumes, and it was backstage, you know, we're even like, well, how about if you sing the first song second, whatever, we'll do it, you know. And we'll just change the bow and go through the process. And then we went backstage. We either do first or last, so we never saw people, you know, other quartets. And so we're all gathered up in a room about this size, 10 quartets. And, you know, wow, look at those clothes. And we looked all homemade and sewn up and pinned and all that. And so it got down where they called 3rd place. Connie started crying, just crying. It was too much after these long days. And Lyle Pilcher was our coach. And Lyle. And Jarmella was the one that didn't like any of the clothes. But I was the spokesman for the quartet and told Lyle, don't say another word, whether it's good or bad. We've heard all you have to say in 3 days, enough for a lifetime. Well, anyway, Connie's still crying, and 2 comes up, Well, we're either 6th or 1st, that's all they make. And now she's even sitting down crying. And the 3 of us thought it was our fault. It wasn't hers. Anyway, they called our name, and it was so exciting. And here's another Connie thing. She tripped. So the drapes are on the sides and all. So as soon as she crossed the curtain, boom! She didn't fall to the floor. That came later with soda stream. We had a wonderful life together. She was all the things that everyone has been singing and saying about her. She was a perfectionist, you think? Right. She took over all costuming because apparently from Midwestern Ohio, we didn't know a thing. A very loving soul, a very giving soul. So many things brought the beauty to her. We didn't know early on that we were a good quartet. Well, it turned out we were. And thanks to all of you for supporting Connie, of course, and 3 of us as the 4th edition. We're going to miss her the rest of our lives. But thank you. Thank you very much. She's a great gal. She's in our memory all the time. We vacationed together and just had a ball. Thank you.
This is not scheduled, but if I don't say something, we're going to be here till Tuesday. We've got, the only one that can talk long is me because I was 33 years with her, okay? You got 4 minutes, ladies, 4 minutes, otherwise we'll be here till Tuesday. So I know we could get up here and talk about 2 hours because we all love her. But we're trying to move the program
Now
along.
let's not turn now.
Now it's her. This is the pro, right here.
San Diego Chorus has a long-standing policy of not letting you go even when you retire. They give you a new name. They call you Emeritus. We now ask the San Diego Chorus, active members, Director Kathleen Hansen, and all the retired members, we're going to share a song from the Great American Songbook, a song about how we feel about our Connie.
If you're a former member and you know I'll be seeing you, you are welcome to
Yes.
join us.
And it'll be directed by none other than Kim Vaughn. into her Sweet Adeline Quartet career, her crowns multiplied. Sandy Shelver was part of that journey. I was beyond blessed over the last 10 years to belong to a Ladies Who Lunch group with Connie and Sandy. Because Sandy lived in Julian over an hour away, I spent many an entertained hour driving with Connie either up the mountain or down the mountain. And I used to joke that if the conversation lagged, I'd say, "What kind of a car are you going to get next?" That could fill an hour. Sandy is one of Connie's finest and most loyal friends. Sandy Shelver.
Well, in about 1975, the 4th edition, or 76, the 4th edition decided to retire. And that meant that Connie Noble was going to be flying out there without a quartet. And Kim's and my quartet, High Society, as outgoing champions, were losing our tenor. And so we were sitting on the floor thinking, what do you do to find somebody who's really cool? We'd already won, and we just knew we were just swell. And so we knew we had to find something special. And Betty, our tenor who had to leave, said, well, you might as well go for it. I mean, why not get the best? So we were sitting on the floor, we called Connie Noble in Ohio and said, how would you like to move to San Diego and be our tenor? And she said, well, can I think about it? And we said, yeah. And she said, okay. So she quit her job, sold her furniture, got in her little car, and moved to San Diego, just like that. We had so much fun. Our first show with her was maybe a week later, and it was, well, she had been out a couple of times and rehearsed, but so she came out. We were wearing these hoop outfits with hair pieces. You guys remember? There we are. That's Connie on the left. Well, we did our show, and we got back to our rehearsal room, and she pulled off her hairpiece, and she threw it against the wall, and she said, I ain't never wearing this thing again. and you really know she meant that with all of her heart. She was very, very fun. I'm always grateful to Connie because she was the consummate shopper. And I'm one of those women that wasn't built with that in my DNA. I really would rather do anything than shop. But she was tolerant of me. So she'd go out doing what she was going to do, and she'd call me, and she'd say, okay, I put 3 things back at Macy's in Fashion Valley. You need to come down and try them on. They're just right for you. So I went down, tried them on, and she was right. Really, really was hard for my psyche. But she knew better what was going to work on me than I. She was a consummate musician, absolutely demanding that it be right. And we would be working on a song, working on a chord that just wasn't working. And while finally it got there and it was just right, she said, that's a $100 chord. And then she welled up because it was so cool. It was so right. And we finally got it. And she was most appreciative. She was a joy. I got to sing with her for almost 40 years in 2 different quartets. The neatest thing in my life. It was really a blessing.
I'm not doing well with this, but I'm as tall as I'm going to get right now. It may seem like Sweet Adeline's is a full-time job, but it's only a hobby. Connie lent her talent and her enthusiasm and her joy to many other avenues, and we're going to hear from some of them now, beginning with Robin Paul from the Magic Horse.
Yeah, let's see. How do I get this to work right for me? How's that? Better? Thank you, Winnie. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. How could you not? I met Connie through my husband, Larry, through Bob, through the Toastmasters. and I'm not a Toastmaster. I have horses. Connie thought horses were beautiful, but she didn't know anything about them. Her curiosity and her giving heart brought her to me to talk about being a volunteer with my program. I have a therapeutic riding program for people with disabilities. She said she didn't know anything about it. I said, that's okay. You'll learn from us. So Connie decided she'd come out, help us as a volunteer, and she'd come out after work because she got to work really early in the morning, so she had time in the afternoons to come and spend with us. She learned how to clean corrals. She learned how to groom and clean horses. She scrubbed buckets, water buckets, feed buckets, and then she cleaned the brushes that she used to clean the horses. Our riders taught Connie how to tack up the horses. That's putting the saddles and the bridles and all the gear on the horses. She learned from them, so they had an opportunity to teach her something that they knew. And then Connie entered the arena with our riders. As a sidewalker, she walked beside the horses and the riders to add extra security, support, safety, and to learn from them what they were learning. We had a horse show one year, thought May was a great time of year to have a show. It turned out to be 102 that day. And Connie was there to help get all the riders and horses ready, the riders on in the right time, the right place, the right horse, and out there in the sun and the dust. And she said, the show must go on. We have parades that we go to every year in Lakeside Parade. She wrangled up Bob one year. They came out and they helped set up the float and decorate it and sit and wave at the crowd as we went through town. Connie got to know the horses and how they were interacting with other people. That's the parade. And Connie discovered that the horses are not only beautiful on the outside, but they're also beautiful on the inside. I'm grateful for Connie's help. She braved the sun and the dust and the heat to contribute her time and energy and her ideas for the learning opportunities for our riders and for herself. You all know it was important to Connie to contribute to the growth and learning of others. You'll hear more about this later, but there's a scholarship put together in honor of Connie. I believe it is the most appropriate and fitting thing for Bob and the people who knew her so well to put this scholarship together to support budding quartet members, the Connie Noble cause. And it's the perfect legacy of Connie Noble. Thank you.
Hearing from Robin helps explain Connie's behavior when we would go to the races at Del Mar. I would be sitting there with my racing form, trying to figure the odds, put my bets up. All she wanted to do was go down to the paddock and see the horses. I'm not sure she ever placed a bet. When Connie wasn't singing or volunteering or golfing, she created a stellar professional career. Please welcome Shelley Tansel from Qualcomm.
Hello, everybody. Yes, Connie, I met her in 2004 at Qualcomm, and just listening to people that I knew of all her friends, but I'm learning a lot about her today, and now I know why. She was passionate, committed, caring. If she wanted to put her foot down, she did, but she was always humble and sweet about it. Everybody loved Connie. A quote that I wrote, because it just makes me think of her, is live your life in such a way that if anyone were to speak badly about you, no one would believe it, and that's Connie, because I never heard anybody anybody say a bad word. And you know, at work, people can snip and, you know, even when Connie might have been in one of her little moods, nobody ever said a bad word about her. Ever. So she really helped me. She changed my life. I was one of those people who worked like 16 hours a day, and it was killing me, and she saw it. And she became, I became her project, and she said, live your life, live your life, live your life. And she wouldn't give up on me. And Robin, she told me about you all the time and how much she loved coming, because we both got into work early, and she was like, find something to do, find something to do, use your talents. After 2 years, I finally put that into practice, and the legacy Connie leaves with me is that I now tell other people that I see who are doing what I did, live your life. Connie put that into my head. You're not even a full person if that's all you're doing is working. So you can't even contribute well if you're not living your life. And she gave me that gift. And we got even closer after she retired. We met every 3 months for early dinners. And as you were saying, we'd sit and talk for hours and hours and hours about everything. Family, friends, dogs, hair, nails, clothes. She never told me so much about her crowns and prizes, though. I mean, I used to say, sing something for me, and she never would. But she just was so full of life and so fun. And even when she was going through her illness, because the 5 years after she retired is when she was going through her illness, and she was such an example of courage, strength, happiness, joy. I never heard her complain. I mean, sometimes she'd say, I'm a little tired, you know, and I would think I complain about work and email and things like that. She just had a way of being so full of life, even when she was feeling bad, but she wanted to make time with me. And I cherish her. I cherish her. I wanted to speak on behalf of Qualcomm because everybody wanted to be here, and obviously there wasn't enough room. So all the way from the AVP of HR to the people in benefits, to the VP of engineering, senior director, senior management, senior director of engineering, all of our coworkers, my sister, we were all graced by the life of Connie, and she impacted everyone in such a positive way. The whole 5 years, I would send out email updates, how she's doing, because people would ask me, how's Connie, how's Connie? Usually when someone retires, let's keep in touch, and it kind of goes away, but we did, and every email update I would send out, or say, hey, anyone want to send flowers? Hundreds of dollars would pour in. I'm talking hundreds of dollars, $300-400, just from people who wanted Connie to know they loved her. So we'd send her cards and flowers all along her journey. We were happy when she was rallying. We were scared and praying when she wasn't. And everybody's hearts are really broken that she's gone, but they never forget her. So I think a lot of them might be watching online. So I love you guys. And I just wanted to say one of my favorite proverbs from a Native American proverb is, they are not gone who live in the hearts of those they leave behind. And that's certainly true of Connie. She was a life-changing friend of mine. She was relentless in her pursuit of pouring these words into me, live your life. It's something that I practice now, and I want to just say I'm so happy to be here with everybody. Bob, thank you. And Connie, you are not gone in the hearts of those you leave behind. Your legacy is strong, ongoing, precious, missed, honored, loved, and cherished. My precious friend who I loved and who loved me, we are blessed by the continued presence of you in our hearts.
We spoke of Connie's unique passion for everything she did, and we must include her passion for cars. She and Bob faithfully watched a show on BBC called Top Gears, which is for car geeks only. Connie, Bob, and I went up to the Peterson Auto Museum way back on January 6th. Doesn't seem like it was that long ago, does it, Bob? She had a wonderful time up there. She was surrounded by beautiful cars, and she was in her glory. And you only have to look at the pictures on your program to see an example of the best car ever. We now welcome from the Jaguar Club of San Diego, Bob Proctor. Bob.
I might need some help with this. I don't think I can get it high enough.
Serves you right for being tall.
Sorry about that. That's about the best I can do. Can everybody hear me? So my name is Bob Proctor, and I am the first vice president of the San Diego Jaguar Club. And I'm here with my wife, Allie, who's secretary of the Jaguar Club, and Nidra Rummel, who's vice president in charge of membership. And we all got to know Connie very well. Just to give you a little background on the club, the common thread is just a love of Jaguar cars. And we have about 300 to 400 members in the club. So it's quite a large club. It's one of the biggest in North America. And each month we hold an event for the club. And the event could be a driving event, it could be a social event, it could be a tech event where they learn about the Jaguars, or we have our Concours, which is once every year. So I give you the context because that's how we were fortunate enough to meet Connie and to know Connie very well. We didn't know her very long, but she made such a big impression on the club, and the common thread that I'm hearing from everybody is the same as what I'm going to tell you. She just went into everything so passionately and just grabbed hold of it and really wanted to do everything. So Connie, Bob, and Larry joined the club in July of 2016, okay? When you join the club, you need to register your vehicle with the club, what type of Jaguar you have. We want to know that. So Connie registered her 2013 Jaguar XK in Italian racing red. I mean, this car is a fast, powerful sports car, almost 400 horsepower. And in Italian red, it's like a rocket ship. So you can picture Connie driving this thing. I mean, this car was her passion. She loved to talk to members about it. She loved to show it off. She loved to take it on drives. I had printed out one picture from one of our events, and you probably can't see it, but you see the red car. So that's Connie and Bob. And this event, we did an overnight event to Laguna Beach. So we met down in Fallbrook, which is where this picture was taken. We had breakfast there, and then we did a drive up to Laguna Beach. We had a nice dinner the first night. Everybody spent the night and drove home the next day. So that's the kind of passion that Connie brought to this. Now, when you first join the club, our biggest problem is getting members to participate. That wasn't the problem with Connie. So she joined, as I said, in July of 2016. And so it's kind of the back end of the year. There were 4 sponsored events by the club that she could attend. She attended 3 of those events out of the 4. In 2017, there were 10 club-sponsored events that she could attend, and she attended 9 of these events. In 2018, she was getting ill at that point. There was a January event that was an overnight drive to Borrego Springs. Connie and Bob joined that. Connie was one of the first ones to sign up. I always ran the sign-ups. She signed up, and then because of her illness, she had to cancel. And we spoke, and she was so upset that she couldn't join the club for the event and wanted to give her room away to another member who maybe couldn't get a room at the club. And that's the kind of person that Connie was. But just so the last event that Connie did attend, and I printed another picture. This was our holiday event from 2017. There's Bob and Connie. And this was at Tom Ham's Lighthouse. And it was just a wonderful event. Connie had a great time. We all enjoyed it. And it's a great place to be social, to meet members. And Connie just fit right in with the club. It was so easy. It was an easy fit. But for Connie, it wasn't enough just to participate in the events. Connie expressed an interest in becoming one of our Concours judges. If you don't know what a Concours event is, it's like a car show, but it's more demanding. The judges not only judge the way the car looks, they have to judge every component of the car. So the outside of the car, the inside of the car, the engine of the car, even down to the bolts on the car, different things have to look exactly the same as when the car came out of the factory and the year it was built. So these courses to become a judge are very intense. I took one intro course and said this wasn't for me. Connie decided this is what she wanted to do, and she had signed up for the 2018 courses so she could become a judge for the club. We always needed judges. It's a very difficult position to fill because it's so demanding, but Connie said she was going to do it. And then what she did is she expressed an interest in becoming a board member. And she said, let me go to some of the board meetings and see if I like that. So she showed up at our board meetings, and she sat down, listened, participated, and the board could tell how interested she was. And for a new member to just grab hold of something like this is very unusual. So she decided she wanted to be a board member. She ran for the board. At our 2017 election luncheon, which Connie attended, she was elected as a board member, and she would have started January of 2018. Because of the illness, she wasn't able to make a lot of the meetings, but she always read the meeting minutes. She communicated with the club via email on questions. She was very passionate about it. I printed out an email that we received on January 18th from Connie. It was after one of the board meetings, and we were talking about events, and she was asking questions to the board about the club events, and these are her words. I was just curious because we all love the Jaguar automobile and what it stands for. So what can we do to bring up attendance and get more people interested in Jaguar? She then went on to say, how do we get more folks to our future concours and make more folks aware of the impact of Jaguar and its history? And then she continued, I realize I'm asking all kinds of things and I'm unable to be there due to my health. But I was just trying to think of activities that could be going on to better inform and increase attendance. I miss everyone, and sorry I cannot be at the drive this weekend. So that was right before our Borrego Springs overnight event that Connie had to cancel. Connie's presence is missed by the club greatly, and we just wish she could have been part of our family a little longer. So.
It really is a blessing to be able to celebrate Connie in this beautiful space on this lovely golf course. She made her signature impact on this club as well. We now welcome Julie Day. She's going to tell us about Connie the golfer.
Hello, everyone. I'm one of the golf pros here at the resort and have been here for 30 years. I've known Connie over the last 3 or 4 years as a golfer. Myself and one of the other pros, we put together a ladies' clinic twice a month. Well, Connie was there every single clinic because she was going to get better. And she was always the inspiration. I am a breast cancer survivor, and Connie and I used to talk all the time. She was always very, very positive, and her strength was always an added bonus. Everybody in the group, she always would find, a couple people, they'd call her and they'd want her to come to golf, and she was right there. She wanted to be the best, and she was good in the good times and when she didn't feel well, but you didn't know it. She would, I'm fine, I'm gonna push through this, I know I got it. Connie will really, really be missed.
I am certain we have more fine singers gathered in one room than any other room on planet Earth today. We want all of you to join in singing Amazing Grace. Please be assured that Connie is listening. And we thank Kim. Kim Vaughn is going to start us out, and she's going to direct us, and then she's going to talk to us. Her friendship with Connie is long and warm and deep. When Connie first moved to San Diego more than 40 years ago, she joined the chorus, she joined Haas Society, and she lived with Kim's parents for a while. Suffice to say, she and Kim became very close very quickly. Kim?
All right, your turn to sing. I know some of you are thrilled with that very thought, aren't you? Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Go ahead, sing that harmony. feel the need for a tag, but I won't go that way. So, Connie and I have been friends for a very, very long time. Did you notice that I am not in past tense yet? Still can't be in past tense. This morning, as I was trying to figure out what I was going to put on, I thought, I wish I could just call her and ask her what she's wearing. Because she was always going to be the best dressed person in the room, right? Even when she would come to rehearsal in a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, she always looked better than everyone else. It was kind of irritating. My favorite thing, of course, were the acid green jeans, which I hated. It's not one of my favorite colors, and Connie wore religiously because I hated them so much. She really did. Connie was a lot of wonderful things, as you've heard from all these people. I just wanted to tell you a couple things you might not know. One of the things you might not know is that she graduated from the Fashion Institute here in San Diego. Whatever Connie wanted to know, she wanted to know everything about, so she studied it. She went to school for it, she read about it, she knew everything about old furniture, especially chairs. Loved chairs. They have more chairs in their house than you can imagine. I would love to count them sometimes. She would refinish them. She learned how to refinish them. She went to classes and learned how to do that. When my mother turned 60, now Connie had a very fun relationship with my mom and dad. My dad's favorite story about her always was when she finally moved out and got her own apartment, she called him one morning because she knew he got up early. It was about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and the phone rings at the house, and my dad picks it up, and she says, Dad. He says, what? And she says, there's an alligator in my living room. He said, what? She said, I'm telling you, there's an alligator in my living room. So, of course, he drove to her apartment, and, of course, guess what it was? It was a lizard. But the girl from Ohio didn't know about lizards. Little stuff like that. So one of my favorite things is if you go to their house, anytime that Connie was around, every time you walked in the door, the furniture was different.
Yeah.
Every time, right? Every single time. The only thing that never moved, well, it finally did move, was the couch that Bob absolutely said he must keep. And Connie kept saying, I'm going to get it one of these days. She was just sure. And he said, no, I want that couch. So she moved it from wall to wall. But it's still there. So I guess it's probably one of my legacies is to go get that couch one of these days. Look out, Bob. Above all of the things that Connie was, and she was all of these great things, you guys, everything you're talking about, she was all of those things. But the thing she was at her heart was a singer. She sang anything, everything, all the time, anywhere, anything. She played the organ, she played the piano, she sang at 2 of my weddings. There you have it. We had the most wonderful time together, you guys. In the almost 40 years that we spent together, we had more fun laughing and crying. And I'll never forget the day when Savvy, I really wish everybody had gotten to know Savvy better. That was our quartet that won in 1988. And the reason I wish that is because it was inside. It was a silly quartet. Our bass, her name is Tippy, and she would always say, my name is Tippy, and I'm from the South, as if you couldn't tell. The day that Tippy decided to tell us that she had pancreatic cancer, she invited us all over. We were going to have Sundays. She invited us all for ice cream Sundays and then told us she was dying. And then she said, I don't want to see a single tear. And of course, we all had to go into the other room and have a little sob and come back. She was not going to see it. She was not going to see it, and we lived that way with her because that's the way she wanted it to be. And Connie was the same darn way. If she didn't want you to cry, she meant, I don't want you to cry. And she meant it. She was absolutely serious about all of those things. She lived her life absolutely to the fullest every single day. And when she wanted you to be happy about her life, she meant it. She wanted you to be happy and joyous about the life that she led. I wish I could tell you about everything, because there's a million stories to tell you, but I gotta tell you that as a chorus director, it was wonderful to sing for her, except when she wanted a song to be a little faster. We called it Connie speed. I have never sung some songs so fast in my whole life as we did with Connie as a director. She didn't like anything to go slow, so it went really, really fast. She was a wonderful chorus director. She adored the chorus, but mostly she just wanted to direct. She didn't want to do any of that other stuff. That's why she said after 5 years, she said, I think I'm done with this. I think I'll be the associate director. You guys take it. So LJ and I did that. And we had a lot of fun with it. The one other thing I would tell you is that the day, I really want to thank our international headquarters staff. Lindsay is here, by the way, from our Sweet Adeline International staff. But I want to tell you that they bent a few rules and did a very cool thing for us. This is Connie's 50th year as a Sweet Adeline. This October, she would have been presented with her 50-year pin, just like Jerry Papa George is wearing over here, her 50-year pin. And of course, she wasn't going to make it to St. Louis to get her pin. So we asked if she could have it early, and they said yes. So they sent it to us, and we presented it, the chorus presented it at the house the Thursday before she died. And she sat on that couch, by the way, that couch that she didn't like. She sat on that couch and sobbed. And I think, wait a minute. Chicken recipes, yes. How many ways are there to cook a chicken? That's how you stop yourself from crying when you have to sing. You think about chicken recipes. I learned that from Sandy Shelburne. Anyway, so I went into fricassee there for just a second. So I want you to know she was my best friend, and I loved her like a sister, but I felt that way about everyone I've ever sung with. All my quartet mates, all my chorus mates, and I know for sure that she felt exactly the same way, because we talked about it. We talked about all of you and how much she loved all of you, and I want you to make sure that you all know that. So, I'm over my 5 limits, but I just don't care.
Braver men than Bob have tried to shut her down. We are so honored to have in our company no fewer than 7 international Queens of Harmony. The song they're going to sing is perfect for Connie, perfect for the occasion. So I give you Jerry, Pam, Bonnie, Sandy, Tom, Kimmy, Tim, and Darcy. And Darcy. Don't forget Darcy.
I know, I'm just waiting so.
I'm back here, I really am.
I'm thinking about chicken recipes right now.
I'm just wondering who has a pitch pipe.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Tommy.
We didn't eat flat.
Oh. Anybody got an E flat? Sorry, I left my phone.
In the evening.
I'll sing with you. In the evening, as I sit alone, dreaming of days gone by, love, to me so deep, Picture that in fancy oft appearing, brings back the time, love, when you were near. It is then I wonder where you are, my darling, and if your heart to me is still the same. For the sighing wind and nightingale a-singing are bringing only your own sweet name. Sweet Adeline, sweet Adeline, my Adeline. At night, dear heart, for you I pine. In all my dreams, your fair face beams. You're the flower of my heart, sweet Adeline, sweet Adeline, my Adeline. You're the flower of my heart. Sweet Adeline.
We have heard from Connie's work family, her music family, her volunteer family, her club family, and now we are indeed blessed to have Caitlin Dunlap is going to speak on her family.
How do you follow that? Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. My name's Caitlin Dunlap, and I'm a great niece of Connie's. I flew in from Canton, Ohio, and I'm her great niece on the Noble Band side. I'm speaking on behalf of the family, and I would like to share a personal story. To me personally, Connie was more than just a great aunt. She was my musical inspiration. As a singer myself, from the young age of 3, Connie was one of the major role models, in my life who encouraged me to pursue my passion for music. When I was in middle school and high school, whenever Connie flew to Ohio, she would come and support me at my concerts, musicals, and events where I performed. However, I wasn't the only person she inspired in the music world. Many of my hometown friends and teachers knew of Connie, her incredible musical talent, and followed her involvement in Sweet Adeline's International. Although I was able to spend much precious time with her this past July, my fondest memory is when she and I sang at her great-nephew's, my cousin Phil's, wedding. We sang the song, "It had to be you, it had to be you." And of course, she took the harmony because boy, oh my gosh, could she sing. And that was the most difficult part, and I said, "Aunt Connie, you take that, okay?" And she did so graciously. Harmonizing and singing came effortlessly and naturally to my Aunt Connie, and every time I heard her sing, I just melted. She was truly the best. and a perfectionist, and I see where I get that from her as well. I could tell you countless stories of my most cherished memories with Aunt Connie, but I will leave you with what I will always remember about her most. As you all know, Connie was the most caring, compassionate, selfless, passionate, and kind woman. And don't forget, a class act. Wow. Didn't she just light up the room with her presence? Her style, poise, and sense of fashion, like I heard today, are aspects I will always remember about her. I want to thank you for listening to my personal memories of her, and I ask you to always remember to hold her close in your hearts. I also speak for our family who cannot be here today, the Bances, Musleys, and Johnsons. They too loved and will miss Connie greatly. And lastly, I know whenever I find myself singing, it will be because of her influence on me. And one more personal note, my 6-year-old son, Carson, who has, I swear, perfect pitch. It's because of her and this train of music through our blood that runs through us. May she rest in peace and harmony. Thank you.
Finally, my friends, we call upon the love of her life, her boon companion, her husband, and our dear friend, Bob Decker.
You have 5 minutes.
Nice going. Nice going. I got 30 seconds. That's wonderful. Well, can everybody hear me? Yes. I'm sorry about that. Okay. You know, I wish you all could see what I can see. This room full of great, caring, loving, talented, insightful people. Later on, I'm going to have you talk to some of those folks. That's one of the reasons why I wanted you wanted to try to move your program forward. But I'm not going to move my program forward. I got 20 minutes. But later on, I'm going to ask you to try to get up after you have something to eat and walk around and say hello to people that you do not know. Our inclination is to stay with the folks that we know here, but there's all these different aspects of her life. This is the only opportunity you'll ever have it. You guys are all here. Go meet someone and say, hi, my name is, and I know Connie because, and talk for a few minutes about Magic Horse or Sweet Adelines or her work or, you know. This is the one shot, guys. My oldest son, when he was about 10 or 12, if he got in an argument with his younger brothers, used to say, I'm right, you're wrong, I win, you lose. I'm right, you're wrong, I win, you lose. A funny kid. Brothers didn't think so. But anyway, when it deals with Connie and the people here in this room, I'm right, you're right, I win, we all won. We all won by knowing Connie. We're here because she loved this place. We could have had to fill the room twice this size. But this place has got beautiful memories. I got 25 years I've held my little Mount Helix Toastmaster course out here. We'd love to come out here for dinner. We should love to come out here and play golf. When you get a chance later on, walk around the grounds. It's a gorgeous place. The people, after 30 years, they're like family. And although I was the major winner, because I was with her for 33 years, Connie and I were friends and lovers. And as many of you know, less than 30 days after we married, she passed away. And I feel compelled to talk about that. No one has raised the issue, but it's here. There might be a misunderstanding that it was done either for legal reasons, or because Bob knew Connie was dying and finally you're going to get married. But that wasn't the point. When I got down, could you get some water in that glass? It's in the back. Thanks. When I got down on one knee and asked her to marry me, and she looked at me and she said, "We're really going to do this?" I said, "Well, that's kind of up to you, you know." But we didn't know what was happening. As far as we knew, we were in the middle of a 4.5-year fight against cancer. And, you know, I gave her the ring, and she loved the ring, and she told me so, and she told a lot of friends that she loved the ring, and she was proud of me that I picked it up by myself. Obviously didn't give me a lot of credit in a lot of areas, but we, honest to God, we did not know at that point. And then things moved quickly. They just did. They got away from us. Thank you. My son Sean, say hello. And as far as the legal stuff, that had been taken care of, you know, decades ago. So, you know, it's not a big thing, but it's something I felt compelled to tell you about. Now we can talk about Connie for a bit. Well, looks like everybody's used up all my ideas. Everything's shot here. Cars, well, I can talk about classical music and ballet. Connie liked classical music and ballet, and she would go with Carol Bance, listen to me, Jesus. Carol Corsi. And she and Connie would go to the ballet, and they would go to the theater to look for classical music, which was great because Carol's husband, Rick, and I could go and play golf. So back home, we call that win-win. You know? As far as music, well, you know, Sweet Adeline was the love of her life. Her two favorite female singers were Judy Garland and Barbra Streisand. And if you're familiar with their work, you understand why. But she loved everybody of that era, Frank and Tony. But she also loved some of the work from Lady Gaga. I don't know if you ever saw Lady Gaga do some work with Tony, but knock your socks off. Her friends, she would say, I'm going to call my friend Shelley, or I'm going to have lunch with my friend, whatever. And friend came right before the name. It'd be like if I said I'm going to play golf with Rick and Pete. I wouldn't say I'm going to have my friend Pete and my friend Rick, but she would. Family. Loved her family. She liked football, but she loved baseball. And she was almost always angry with the Padres because they were doing lousy trades. Never forgave them, you know. She was a perfectionist even when she was working with a club that she didn't own or organized or talked to or anything. As far as golf, she had a beautiful natural drive. In fact, her driver's over here, the pink-headed driver. You know, 150, 160 yards straight down the middle, that nice follow-through, just gorgeous. Her short game drove her crazy, which if you play golf, you can understand that. She liked Ricky Fowler. I think he's going to have a good year because he's got a fan upstairs. She liked reading. She read biographies, historical biographies. One of the things that she really liked and appreciated was respect from her peers. If you were in Sweet Adelines, or if you were a fan or you just showed up and you listened to them sing, that's fine. But if somebody was in Sweet Adelines for 8 or 10 years and knew how hard it was to do something, that was different because the people were their peers. They understood what we went into it. Over in this little wall here, there's a John Philip Sousa Award, okay? That was given to her by her band when she was in her senior year in high school. The kids picked a member, there's a little certificate, you can read about it, about who they chose to receive that award, and then the band director had to approve of that. And she received that in her senior year. One person in the whole high school band got it. And she kept that award in the office. Because again, respect from her peers, right? Wasn't, I think, great you're doing high school band. No. It was members of the band chose that. She loved England. She loved to read about England. She loved going to England. We got English Home and Gardens. We watched England on television. We watched car programs and we watched England. That was pretty much it. And golf. And baseball. So I guess that's kind of it. We didn't even see it on real TV. We just saw those four things. So. I still get magazines that she ordered. And the other week I sort of put them together as they were coming in. And I thought, well, if you didn't do anything but just look at these magazines, you'd have a little bit of a feeling about who that woman was. She got Sports Car Market. Those of you who are in sports car will know of the magazine. Probably almost nobody else does. She got English Home and Garden, and she got Vogue, all in 1 week. Things she didn't like. You know when you go to the theater and it's supposed to start at 8? 5 minutes after, she's complaining to me, right? If the lights are still lit and people walking in. At 10 minutes after, everybody in about 12 feet can hear. God forbid if they're 15 minutes later. Everybody in the 30-foot circle will hear. If you're doing something, do it. No excuse. Or wait for a break or something. It's your fault. You got there late, do it right. She didn't like goof-offs. She didn't like show-offs. That was about it. There wasn't a lot of things she didn't like. Let me talk about a little something now that's taken place. We had a little talk about after she passed away. The first few days, I didn't want to get up. Larry was there, your brother, and he helped us through the last few weeks because I wouldn't have got up. But on the third night, I got this idea. How about if we put together a CD that featured her? Now, it's 4-part harmony, so you're going to primarily hear the lead, but different times of bass, there's a part for the bass or the tenor, whatever. And I don't even know how many CDs she made over the years, but let's say 10 or 12 in the different groups. So we're putting together a CD that didn't exist. It's going to be songs from, at least a couple of songs or 3 songs from each of the 4 quartets that we're talking about, and some songs from the San Diego Chorus. And we're going to use that as a fundraiser. We're going to sell that and use it as a fundraiser, and to start this idea that we're going to put together a scholarship in her name at Sweet Adelines, and they're running it. You have no idea how good they are. For them to go through all this. The last couple of weeks, when Connie was on hospice, we received somewhere between 110 and 120 cards. From all over. And people would write on them. They'd write letters on the front, the back, the sides. Some woman from Georgia wrote that she saw her once 25 years ago, and she changed her life. Because she saw her at a show. They go after till like 2, 3 in the morning. They go, what's it called? There you go. So she met Connie. She liked the person. She crazy about the voice. She started buying CDs. She joined Sweet Adelines, and 25 years later, she's still in it. So people were writing these things, and I realized that people who've been around for a while knew her voice, but for the last 5 or 10 years, there were a lot of people in Sweet Adelines, let alone anyplace else, that didn't know her voice. So how about if we put together all the CD of these 4 quartets in the San Diego Chorus and got that out, and they could use it as a fundraiser, and people who never heard her voice will hear it, and they're going to be blown away. And we're going to use So then we had the ideas, we'll do that. Well, then how about if we have some shirts? Okay, we're going to have some shirts, and they're going to be a fundraiser. And they're going to be little hats. We're going to do everything. We're going to build a $100,000 endowment. And then we're going to spend 5% off of that every year and put $5,000 so one girl in Sweet Adelines, who's a member of Sweet Adelines, can get a scholarship to go to college. And that might make the difference for the girl that wouldn't do it. Yeah. A lot of people might think $100,000 is a big deal, and it's a big project, and it's you could call it a big dream, but who the heck wants a small dream? Not Connie. Connie sure is, heck, would not have a small dream. So we're going to do it. This, I guarantee you, I swear, as I'm standing here, this is going to happen. You watch it happen. It's not a question if it does, the question is when. I'd like to happen. We're not going to go live until we get to $100,000, because otherwise you're spending seed money. If you got $25,000, you're giving away $5,000, you got nothing. You got to get it. So 2 things. First of all, there is a website, and the website just got a name yesterday. It's not filled up yet, but you can go online and check it out. It's called ConnieNobleScholarship.org. So when you get home, it's Connie Noble, and then what it's for, scholarship, and you put the .org because I guess, what do they call them, non-profitable organizations are there. So ConnieNobleScholarship.org. You're going to be able to go on there. You're going to be some writing about Connie. We're going to have the Sweet Adelines, the queens that sang with Connie in her quartets are going to have little vignettes, 1-minute videos. They're going to be a place where you can leave your comment. I knew Connie, on the second page. Tell your little story. Maybe leave a photograph of you taken years ago with her. Whatever. That's up to you guys. Third page will be if you want to get a CD or a shirt. And everything is going to be quality. We made sure that the shirt material, the manufacture of the shirt, everything is going to be top notch. You gotta. So it isn't quite filled. It's there. You can go and see that, early stages of it. And we'll get the videos over to the ladies and we'll start building it. There's also in your little thing there in front of you with the crowns on it. If you see there, it says something about you can go online, and this just happened yesterday. With Sweet Adeline Direct, if you type in that number, it's 24 37 25. I had this whole story how it was easy to figure out. You folks in front of you have it. The first 2 numbers are how many hours in a day? 20. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to skip over the middle number. We'll go to the last one. How much is 24 plus 1? 25. There we go. So we got the first 2, and we got the last 2. The hard one is the 2 in the middle, okay? It's 37. Now, it turns out 37 isn't really that hard a number to remember. If I were to tell you 37 times, 37, 37, 37, 30, pretty soon you wouldn't even think about 24 and 25. You'd only think about 37. All right? There you go. So that's the number to the people watching online, 24, 37, 25. If you go there, and then that's in the messages. It's not email. The little messages where you text, and then down in the body of the text you type Connie. That's it, CONNIE. And then you hit send, and you'll take right to Sweet Adelines. You want to stand up and explain what I just said? Because I straightened it out. This is Lindsay from Sweet Adeline. Came all the way from Tulsa.
Wow. I feel really emotional in this space. When Bob clapped earlier for Sweet Adelines, it's a great weight to be the steward
of what so many people care so deeply about. And I don't think I've ever felt that more than being in this room, being this close to Connie. So thank you for allowing us to do that. It means so much. And I brought some things for Bob before we get into text to give. And there was one thing that I found as I was going through old issues of the Pitch Pipe, which is Sweet Adeline's magazine, and since Connie won so many times, she's in there a lot. And I actually have some words from Connie about Bob.
Oh.
This was after she won with Savvy, and she said, "He reminds me of my strengths, and he is gentle with my weaknesses. He is a jewel and the dearest possession of my life." So if you are interested in supporting what Bob is building and what we are really proud to be able to build with him, to offer to young aspiring singers, you can give, text to give. After this is over, I've been asked to not give out the secret Wi-Fi password because it might disrupt the live stream, and we don't want to do that. But you can give straight from your phone. You can text Connie to that number. If you have poor cell phone service, you want to jump on that. You want to connect to the Wi-Fi to make that donation. But I'll be around, and you're welcome to just come and talk to me. I would love to talk to you, and just thank Bob so much for including us in Connie's life. Thank you.
Okay, so if I wasn't destroyed, now I'm completely annihilated. Okay, so first, just quickly, and then we'll get rolling. We don't have time to thank all the people that made this possible, all of this possible. But you know who you are. I thank you. And they deserve an applause. The gentleman with the black shirt in the back, the queen, yeah, don't go anywhere, is Brad Anderson, and the queens that sang in Connie's quartet. Right after I say go, I want him to go and meet with him, and he'll do your 1 little minute videos. Just go on, say who you are, what quartet you were in, and then a little 1 minute story. A little 1 minute story. Yeah. We're going to have, where's Julie? Julie Day. Oh, okay. We're going to have this table go first because she's got to get back to work, okay? But say again? Well, yeah, don't worry about my table. They'll all eat. But the point is, I'm not going to say this table, this table. In fact, Julie's the only one that needs to go on this table. But we're all sophisticated people. Everybody here's got an IQ over 100. So what we're going to do is start going in that direction. Here's my one request. When you get in line, I want you to think about two things: the person in front of you and the person behind you. The person in front of you, in your mind, you're thanking them for moving quickly. Right? All that's up here is sandwiches and salads and brownies and stuff. This is not, you're not buying a suit, right? There's no real estate involved here, okay? So when we get through quickly, and then the other person you're thinking about is the person behind you, who you know is thanking you for moving quickly, okay? So somehow, Julie's going to go to the first, and then people kind of in that general vicinity go.
Right behind Julie.
Yeah, okay. And the folks over here, you're going to be 20 minutes or so as this thing kind of clears out. If you know all the people in your table, get up and chat with somebody else. And then just kind of be conscious of what's going on. Believe me, this is going to move quicker than what normally happens, okay? Got a feeling on it, okay? Just saying. God bless you all for coming. Thanks so very much.
Hi, I'm Darcy. I sang with Connie in a quartet called Fanatics that won international in 2001. We're called the 2002 champs, though. I met Connie when I was 18 and I was in college, and she coached my little chorus in Santa Fe, New Mexico. She loves Santa Fe, and I just idolized Connie. And fast forward 10 years, and now I'm living with she and Bob, starting my own company in California, and I get to sing with her. So that was pretty cool. Some of my favorite memories are just riding with Connie in whatever cool new car she had, having music, any kind of music, turned up full blast, and if it was great, tears would just run down her cheeks. And she couldn't help it. Music did that to her. And I think the main things I learned from Connie are go all in and be fearless, and sometimes good enough just isn't good enough. Thanks.
Hi, my name's Lee Davison. I've had other names, but I was sang lead in the 4th edition quartet, the 1972 international champions. Connie, our life together was always great fun. Today, Sally and Nancy can't be with us here out in California where it's warm, but we had a wonderful experience singing with you, living with you, having you a part of our families. And we retired twice, so we got twice the presents that we had. Loved it. All the joy we shared with a lot of people, and hope they enjoy all of our recordings and whatever. Miss you. Talk to you soon.
Hi, I'm Sandy Trombley Hines. I sang with Connie in 1988 in Savvy. I was a baritone. I have a lot of fun memories of Connie. I think probably the most fun we did was laugh. We laughed a lot. When we sang together in the San Diego chorus, we were always the two that didn't get the jokes, and we'd kind of look at each other and go, "Did you get that?" And she'd go, "No, did you get that?" And everybody'd look at us and go, "They didn't get it." We also sang together with my daughter Sherilyn. That was a fun time because Sherilyn and I always wanted to sing together, and had not had an opportunity to be in a quartet together, but we finally were going to sing together, and we were very honored that Connie said she would sing with us. So, one of the hard things to do is you got to come up with a name. So we were trying to think of a name and then to find out if it was available. So Sherilyn and I found the perfect name. We always wanted to sing together, so we figured Legacy. This would be our legacy. We were so excited it was available. We went back to quartet rehearsal and we said, we got the perfect name. We could be Legacy. And Connie looked at us like she had eaten something bad. And she said, that might be your legacy, but it's certainly not my legacy. So that pretty much sums Connie up, that what you saw is what you get, and I will miss her as I do now every single day. And we love you, Constance Louise.
I'm Sandy Shelver. It was my privilege to get to sing with Connie when we brought her from Ohio to San Diego, and had a splendid time. Lot of singing, lot of shows, traveling, and laughing and having a good one. But then at one point we retired. One of the times, High Society retired a number of times, but one of our retirements, she went off and sang with somebody else. And this was just almost painful for me because she was my tenor and she was singing with someone else. I was happy for her and for them, but when they stopped singing again, she and I got together again in Fanatics, and it was just wonderful to get back with my pal whose voice I treasured. And we had a number of years and lots of travel, lots of fun. Connie and I were joined at the hip, and to have her gone is inexplicable. She was just one of them.
My name is Kim Vaughn, and I sang with Connie in 3 quartets, in High Society and in Savvy and in Acapella Gold. And I must tell you, in all honesty, I must tell you, she's the most phenomenal tenor singer in the world. even the other phenomenal tenor singers of our world will tell you that she's the one that everybody wants to be. I am so thrilled about this scholarship. I am so thrilled about the fact that we're going to honor her and remember her forever. That's so important for us to do that with these iconic people of our lives. And maybe you should apply for a scholarship, or maybe you should contribute to it. One way or the other. I loved her with all my heart, and I'm going to miss her forever, and this will help. Bye.
Hi, I'm Jerry Papa George, and Connie and I were tenors. And then all of a sudden, I had to become a bass. And you know what? I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the two of us singing together. Was awesome. And I want you to know one other thing, is that my job was to do her hair. I could cut it, and I could change the color, whatever we wanted to do. Every time we got together, it was about the hair. Okay? Connie, you're the best. I love you.